So before I left to come over here, a breaking news from Shams Charania came out that the Heat have suspended Jimmy Butler indefinitely until further notice. So this has been just a really weird saga the past few weeks of Jimmy Butler missing practice and a team flight, violating team codes and everything like that. And apparently, from what was said, he was told during shoot-around today that he wasn't going to start and they were going to play Haywood Highsmith instead. Jimmy Butler walked out of shoot-around, left the facility, and the Heat suspended him indefinitely. So we'll kind of just briefly go through this since we have a lot to cover today. So, Gio, your thoughts from Pat Riley here.
Oh, man. This is a rough one. I don't know. I mean, he is violating all these team codes. He's not showing up to meetings. He's late. He's not going on the planes and all that stuff. So I think it's justified. That's my thoughts on this.
Oh my!
Wow.
I think it's justified that Pat Riley.
I'm about to put
him in his place.
I'm about to put you
Go for it, bro.
down like that Snapple bottle is right now.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that you drink that. You're gonna have never mind.
I understand his point, but this is an issue I have. This is a player that I think is respectfully said he's wanted out. You have James Harden as an example that has wanted out on 2 separate teams within 2 years, and they did it pretty much like that. I don't know why Jimmy. It's a special case where they just want him to rot there. When they know he's leaving in free agency. So if you're Pat Riley, you kind of want to think about it and you're like, I kind of need something in return for him. So trade him. Get a first-round pick. Get some players in return. You're going to lose him. You're going to do like a Clippers and lose him for nothing? And suspending him, the man hasn't done anything wrong.
Except not go to meetings, except...
Well, I think that's...
disrespect.
It's not disrespect. The disrespect, I think, is the suspensions.
Both ways.
This guy is still showing up to shoot around and practice. He doesn't have to show up. But as a professional, he shows up and does his job, even though he's really upset with what's going on. And this is a guy that's kind of giving you your franchise a kind of post-LeBron era, a bump up because they had the finals run a few years ago. They kind of stayed in relevancy because of him. If he didn't go there, he probably would have been in the same area right now as the Hornets, the Wizards, and the Nets. But since he went there, he kind of saved Spoelstra's career a little bit. I feel like Spoelstra would have been in a hot seat for a little bit because it would have been a rebuilding Heat team for a while. Mm-hmm. So you got to credit him. Heat players and Heat execs probably, besides Pat Riley, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Spoelstra, they all feel bad for what's going on. And he wrote it out.
Wait, let me ask you. Whose decision is it to start and bench players? Spoels.
I think
No.
It's not.
The GM can make decisions.
But,
yeah.
Okay.
There was a Nets game. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. I think it was either Steve Nash or Jacques Vaughn subbed in Day'Ron Sharpe into the game. Sean Marks yelled from the side, "Why is he playing? Take him out." Or it was one of the players.
Yeah,
but
you could overrule.
You can overrule them
so,
easily.
yeah.
That's why
that's Pat Riley's.
That's why the coach is a scapegoat a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So, and look, I agree with Antoine in the sense of Jimmy has been disrespected for years now by the Miami Heat.
Okay.
Yes, they've been to 2 finals. Can you get him some actual help? Like the fact that he's taken 2 teams full of undrafted players to the NBA Finals on low seeds is impressive. And the Heat have been passive every single offseason, doing nothing to make this team better. They had the 1 seed in 2022, and they decided to just keep the roster as is. It staled out. It stagnated. They were the 8 seed the year afterwards. And then they were like the 9 or 10 seed after that. So Pat Riley's done, quite frankly, nothing to make this team better.
I'll also add to this. Pete already didn't get players. You think they're really going to want to go there now after what's going on with Jimmy Butler now?
Exactly.
Probably not.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and we've seen this is not the first time a Jimmy situation is ending badly. It ended badly in Chicago, ended badly in Minnesota, and ended badly in Philadelphia.
So maybe it's a Jimmy problem.
It could be a Jimmy problem, but I don't think it is in this
I
case.
don't know, man.
Because
both ways.
This is nowhere near the level of what James Harden did in Houston and what James Harden did in Brooklyn. But at the end of the day,
And Philly.
Philly kind of, but they were going to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, they traded James Harden when all this got bad. Instead, Pat Riley just keeps taking the PR punches and keeping him around for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
You're just tanking his value even more, when you can easily just get him out the door.
Right. That's just a bad GM.
Yeah, you're not
mistake.
you're not doing your job.
You're supposed to. Yeah,
Right.
you're supposed to do your job better. Is he doing this out of spite towards Jimmy, or
Absolutely, he is.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
And that for that reason he should go. Like the owner should fire him.
He should.
Wait, is he the owner or is he just the GM?
He's not
Or is he
the
both?
I don't think he's the owner.
He's not the owner.
He's the president of basketball operations, I believe.
Okay.
But
He's not the owner.
But yeah, I mean, Pat Riley is 1,000,000% bitch made for this. No respect towards Jimmy Butler at all in this situation. Just they keep levying down suspensions for the littlest of things.
Right.
Where you gotta give the bro
Still
some
got to
help.
hold people accountable, and we always knew the Heat culture was super all about holding people accountable. We're a
Right.
team, we're a group, everyone comes to the meetings, all that
Listen,
stuff. Right? We already knew that. Jimmy knew that. He was there for years, and he knew that if he didn't go to whatever it was, he would get fined. right?
Understandable, yeah.
Listen, I mean, if Pat Riley wants to do more paperwork that's unnecessary instead of just trading him out, then let him do the fucking paperwork.
Exactly. It's just it makes the most sense. If a star is disgruntled, you get him out of there.
Right.
And this is the best player the Heat have had since LeBron James was on the team. So it kind of is what it is. Because obviously when Wade came back, he was kind of washed.
Right.
So can't really say he was the best. But Jimmy Butler did a lot for this franchise. And to see it end the way it's going to end just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I really am not a fan of Pat Riley after this anymore. I've lost almost all my respect.
I don't know if you can blame it on Pat, though.
You can,
Because
though.
the thing is, like you mentioned, to your point, everywhere Jimmy has been, it's been a bad situation when he left, right?
But
So what does that tell me?
But you can't say it's Jimmy's fault.
What it tells me, though, is that Jimmy's not the best guy to work with.
So then
That's what it tells
So
me.
then what is Harden's story about?
Well,
he
Harden
did.
had some very, very tolerable GMs. I guess that's what that's showing
Well,
me.
but again, that's the moral of the story here. Houston's a very well-run franchise. Sean Marks, outside of the big three era, is a decent GM at best. Daryl Morey, no one likes him, but he's a good GM when it comes down to the basic business of the game. And Lawrence Frank is Lawrence Frank. Here with Jimmy, the Bulls front office is just idiotic. So it's clear that they fucked up trying to build a good team around Jimmy Butler, hence why he left. They traded him to Minnesota, a place where he didn't want to go. So at the end of the day, the Wolves also were not a serious franchise until they got Tim Connolly in the door. And then Philadelphia, Jimmy Butler wanted to re-sign, but again, the way the Philly front office was ran, Jimmy Butler did not like the future and the vision, so he left. Hence why Miami was the right spot for him. And now that
It's a shame he left. He should have stayed in Philly.
No, Jimmy would have found himself in more trouble there with Embiid's problems. I felt
No,
like.
I don't think so.
Embiid-
They would have won a championship. I guarantee it. Ben Simmons would have still been over there. No injury would have happened. They would have been fine if he stayed in Philly.
we never know. That's something we could talk about in the future.
I think Jimmy would have wanted out in Philly because of the
Hell
Embiid
no.
stuff.
A lot of the drama.
Embiid would have been fine because they're winning. When people are winning, there's no drama.
That shouldn't
'Cause
be an
you're winning.
issue. But Embiid could still win with Maxey and his guys right
No.
now.
Jimmy is a different level.
Oh my! Paul George is there.
Jimmy in that time was a different level.
He
Paul
was.
George is old.
Yeah, Paul
You know
George
what?
is old.
You know what we can do? We can go to NBA 2K and we can sim it.
All right.
That's
We
fair,
could
I
sim
guess.
it and see what happens.
We'll see.
There's no chance that Philly team stays healthy.